Welcome to the video. As you see by the title, we'll be talking about proteins, which are some of my favorite, and I'll tell you guys why later. But in the meantime, just go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do what you have to do. Ask any questions down below because I was a struggling biochem student and chemistry student, so I'm just here to help. And yeah, just let me know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. We do see it says introduction of proteins. So again, guys, I am not going to go too deep into the mechanisms and all these, crazy things that you see written on your board with your crazy professors. Those will be for later videos. Right now, I just want to focus on the bare basics so anyone can watch and they want to learn about proteins, and then we'll worry about all that other stuff later, okay? Because who cares about that, right? No, I'm just playing. You should care. But what are proteins? Proteins are these macromolecules. Macro means big. So let me write that out for you guys. Macro, very big. Macromolecules. Oops, oh my God, we don't want you there. Molecules. They're huge. They're humongous. As seen right here, this is a large macromolecule. That is actually a protein. And what these proteins are responsible for are they're responsible for biological reactions that happen within the body, and they are just stunningly amazing what they're able to do. Now, how do we get these proteins? We get these proteins actually through our diets, as seen down below. So we have eggs, we have fish, milk, probably not my favorite, but you can get it from there too, nuts, and plethora of other things. You guys like that word, plethora? I mean, maybe this isn't biochem. This should be like a language arts class or something, right? Plethora. An enormous amount of other foods have protein, right? And that's how we obtain it, right? So it's so important in our body. Why, may you ask? I mean, I know this isn't a video about hair or anything, but hey, I've been trying to grow out my hair. You want nice hair like this guy? Protein. If you want to build muscle like this guy, well, maybe not like him, he probably took steroids, but he's huge. You want muscle growth. Proteins are the answer, and that's why they are very important in our bodies. So now one may ask, what are proteins made up of, right? So as we see here in that second picture we have just right here, proteins are made of something called amino acids, right? And what makes up these amino acids? You see how cool they sound? Of course they're cool because they make up the protein. So we have an amine group, we have an alpha carbon, and we have a carboxylic acid. So these are the three main units that make up an amino acid. And an amino acid is what makes proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids, and amino acids consist of an amine group, an alpha carbon, and a carboxylic acid, which I just call Q. That's the way I remembered it because of the carbon, the O, and the H. Q, kind of like Samurai Jack, Aku. Never mind. So that's what makes up proteins, amino acids, right? And also what I want to get into is the main importance of proteins are for this guy right here. That's why anything I put up here is very important, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't put it. This is an enzyme. Enzymes are so important in biochemical reactions. We know that they lower the activation energy for a lot of these chemical processes and reactions to go through. And proteins, again, wins because that's what they are responsible for. They produce enzymes, and enzymes are very important in the body. So now let's dig a bit deeper. I know we're going a little quick here, but I'm confident you guys can keep up. I mean, you guys are all smart people if you're watching this video, right? So let me go ahead and scroll down, and we're gonna blow this up right here. Now, I know this looks crazy, guys, but guess what? We got it. We don't have to really go deep into this. All I want to get out of this is that you guys know that there are 20 different amino acids. And of those 20, 9 are essential, which again we get in our diet. Now, I don't know what classes you guys are in, or will your professor require you guys to draw out the structure, which I think is completely gruesome and a nightmare. I would just go ahead and try to memorize the R groups, because remember, let's go back a bit. We remember that an amino acid is just an amine group, alpha carbon, carboxylic acid, and you see this beautiful R right here. That's the most beautiful R I've ever seen in my life. That right there can be anything. Chemists use this to say there's an amine, there's an alpha carbon, there's a carboxylic acid, and all that is attached to something else, an R group, a whatever group, right? So if we zoom right back here, we can see that there's an R group here. Let's see, R group right there. Let's see, R group right there. And for the most part, if you notice, for most of these amino acids, it has that same consistency. It has that amino group, has that alpha carbon group, and then of course we have our Q, right? That's what I call it, the carboxylic acid, Q, right? So that's a good way to kind of memorize these here if applicable, because if your professor makes you draw all of them out, that is horror. However, it probably is required for you to memorize them. So let's just, we don't want to go back there. Let's blow it back out. So let me do a quick recap. I can't talk today. We have a protein, and again, it's a macromolecule, proteins, right? They're made up of something called amino acids, right? Amino acids have an amine group, alpha carbon, and a carboxylic acid, right? So I'm just going to take all this green stuff over here so we can clean up the page. I mean, wouldn't you want to be clean too, right? I'm pretty sure my page wants to be clean as well. So, oh no, not him. So anyway, if we go back down, we have 3 amino acids right here. Proline, valine, and methionine, right? Now, let's dig even deeper. What are these amino acids linked to? U1. They are actually linked by something called peptide bonds, right? So let me go ahead and just scroll down here, and I'm going to throw in one of my pictures. I love these pictures. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find it here. Should be somewhere here. Bear with me. Aha, right here. So we can blow that up a bit, and let's get my marker. Actually, let me move this for you guys so you guys can just have a better idea. Oh no, not buff guy again. Trying to move this. Please bear with me. I'm so new to this. Okay, so there you go. Peptide bond formation. So these amino groups are held together by something called a peptide bond right here, right? So we have one amino acid here, and we have a second amino acid right there. And what happens is we have this peptide bond form right in the middle where this hydroxyl is and this hydrogen is. And then the byproduct is going to be a water. And coming down here, we see this form. Now, what is this called? This is called a polypeptide. A polypeptide is the linkage between 2 or more amino acids. So remember, we had one amino acid here and one amino acid here. Now, these amino acids don't particularly have a name because remember, there's R groups here. So that R group can be connected to anything, So we can have a valine and a alanine, right? We can have a leucine and we can have a proline or something, right? These two can be anything. But however, we're trying to talk about the peptide bond here, hence why the R's are there. So that doesn't really matter, right? So again, we form a polypeptide. Again, 2 or more amino acids linked together are called a polypeptide. And if we wanted to go further, we can link another amino acid here. We can link another amino acid here and another one, and so on and so forth. Well, okay, Dre, so we link all of those amino acids. What happens next? Well, I'm glad to tell you that you guys are right and you guys are very smart individuals, because yes, it becomes this very, very long chain, and just so long that I have to go to the next page for this, right? So let's go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to pull up eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. There it goes. There is structures of proteins right here. So as we can see here, let me pull up my pen, and I'm going to change the color for you guys because I love you guys so much. There you go. It's going to turn in this very long chain. All those small circles are amino acids, and eventually turns into something called a primary protein structure, or it can turn into a secondary protein structure, and then eventually it folds into a tertiary protein or a quaternary structure protein, which will be a separate video. I know, guys, you guys are just yearning for me to hurry up and make that video, but again, we're trying to keep it real simple here. So these proteins can fold, and the last example I want to leave with you guys is actually something called hemoglobin. Oh, hemoglobin. Oh, how important you guys are to us. And this is a quaternary structure. And I'm drawing in different colors because there's going to be 4 different subunits for this big thing. And it just looks like squigglies, but would you guys believe if I told you that this is a subunit, this is a subunit, this is a subunit, and this is a subunit? These are the proteins folded into a conformation, making this whole huge protein, and in that protein it has 4 subunits. Oops. It couldn't fit. But that's just how important proteins are. And I just want to stop right here. There's going to be a whole bunch of videos about protein, so we're going to revisit a lot of this stuff. And I just want you guys to know again, just for a quick recap, I'm going to turn the page once again for you guys. Boom. I really love this thing, guys. I mean, if you guys check the past videos, I've been making videos before, but this is just like Black Mirror 2025 technology here. So again, we have a protein. Then we have amino acids, which make up the protein. And these amino acids are held by something called a peptide bond, PB. If it was backwards, it would be BP, but BP is no good. It's the gas company oil spill. Never mind. Peptide bond. Let me put that back. I'm over here thinking about oil. Peptide bond. And then this whole thing of all these amino acids will be called what? Winner gets $100. A polypeptide. Perfect. All right, guys. So that concludes the video. Wanted to make it real quick for you guys. And we'll be talking about other topics. Please, down below, if you want me to talk about anything biochemistry related, organic chemistry related, or my life, go ahead and leave it down below. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful